Day with a new analysis for Bitcoin. I was going to do a live video, but I decided to just didn't work, so I had technical issues. Anyway, so looking at Bitcoin again, just to recap the weekly, the 50 and the 100 converging in this area. We had the bottom of this pullback, the bottom of this diagonal coming all the way back since February 2019. We had the 618 fib up here, down here rather. The volume profile here showing there's a lot of action around this level, all suggesting that there was a good chance that we were going to bounce from here, which is why I entered my longs. Over here, and now we have indeed made a very nice bounce from the bottom. I actually got 6,550. On Bitfinex it might have been a little bit higher, about 6,650. So that's a nice 13% jump already. And I'm targeting a higher level than what we are at currently. I want to get at least sort of, well, I'm not sure exactly yet, but somewhere in this zone, in the 8,400 zone, maybe somewhere over here when we reach this potential resistance, somewhere up there, and also somewhere up there. I'm really holding a lot of this position to much higher highs, and I'm going to be trading within this range. Always. So for example, if I sell, which I did, I can show you on this one over here. So I made a sell over here in order to buy back down at these levels, which I did. And then I also had a stop loss buy above this 7,400 level, because I figured we would see some bullish action if we cross that, which we have. But for example, I sold here and I had a stop loss above 7,400, so I might have gotten stopped out, but I would still, so that would still have that set main position which I entered at the low here. Right, so in any case, let's look at what happened here. We had this pullback from which we moved bullishly upwards. We mentioned that before. We broke out of the pullback structure, and then we came back down, and I was trying to buy back in here after this pullback, and I was going for, looking at 15-minute makes it clearer. I made a Fibonacci structure of this, and I think this was between the 382 and the 618. Let me just check. Between the 382 and the 618, that's right, in this blue box. So I laddered my buys in this blue box. Fortunately, I got the very top of this, but none of the buys came from this box. But then I wasn't too bothered, because I had my stop limit buy above this level, 7382. And now we're creating a new sort of channel here. I mean, it's on the upside, you can't really see it, but on the downside, you have this sort of structure forming here. So do we see another touchdown on this structure before we're moving up, or do we just move up from here? That's yet to be seen. And I think now we can get rid of this structure here, and we can get rid of this. And I still have my stop sells below 7, like here and here and here, because of course I don't want to, I want to have profit on this position. I don't want to be panicking if we come down to this level. I have my game plan in action, basically. Okay, so let's see now if we can see anything closer for this previous move, this most recent move up. So we have the one-to-one extension of this move, I think, is notable to look at. So we touched up there, came down here. One-to-one is, we've almost reached that exactly. Now I have some more sales just at the top here, I think, but I probably took them out recently just because we have a double top here. So I assume that if we break it, we might see a little bit more bullish action going up to 7,750 for a new target. Now we can probably also start seeing a resistance line coming up here. Although I don't like this very much, because you can draw it in so many ways. It only has two touches here, here it only has 2, there it only has 2. So I'm going to just sort of I'm just going to take it out, because I just don't think it's that relevant yet. We do have this red line here, which we had several instances of resistance and support, so I'm looking at some potential for us to hit a top there. And of course we had this previous high up there, so 7,750 is my next sort of major target. Not major, sorry, minor target. The major target is really a little bit higher. Let's first of all look at the moving averages. And yeah, let's start from the 4-hour, or the daily actually. Let's have a look at how the daily is progressing here. So we had the inside bar, and then we had, let's also just take this out so we can see something that's actually going on here. Right. We had an inside bar over here from which we broke bullish. The volume is pretty solid. It's not quite matching the bearish volume from here, but nonetheless, very notable volume. And that's a good thing for the bulls in terms of a potential reversal. Of course, there's no such thing. The reversal hasn't been confirmed yet. We would really need to see higher highs and higher lows on the daily. So a high here, higher low, higher high, which is confirmed by a break of that previous high. So duck, 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 and that's really going to take, the cat just fell. That's really going to take a little while before it can be confirmed. Nonetheless, we can trade. And okay, the other thing I'm looking at is the 21 moving average over here, which also coincides with the 8,000 psychological level, which also coincides with the 50 fib. So I'm looking at those levels. By the way, it's worthy to note that we touched on the 382 fib just now. We had a little resistance from it. Now we're pushing back up again. But yeah, in any case, the 5 fib, and then the next major resistance I would be looking at is the 618, which also coincides with resistance in the past at the 8,500 level. So if and when we get to these levels, I will be looking to take profit. This volume profile is showing us that it's the 8,300 level. So it's just in general this zone up here. But really, there's not a lot of confluence just as yet. I would want to wait until we get to this region before we sort of decide that there's any real resistance. Because in reality, this move came down very quickly without setting any sort of real support. Apart from maybe here, we had a small bounce here, grinded this level a little bit before coming down. So yeah, maybe the major sort of resistance would be 8,500. But then we also have the diagonal lines here to cross. I think we'll probably cross this first one quite easily. These couple of lines here, and then the more major one will be this one up here. Okay, so on the daily, as mentioned, I think it'll be worthy to note to see what happens when we hit the 21 moving average. Here it acted as resistance, broke through it, came back down, grinded it a little bit, and then, so I think that if we come up to touch it, we will see some sort of consolidation or resistance. And I also think that we will reach that 21 moving average before having another move down, if we have another move down. The RSI is moving up nicely here. I don't think we'll see any major resistance until we hit 60 at least, or not 60, but at least, yeah, sort of this region up here, sort of 55, 50 to 60. Just because if we're in a bearish market, we will range between 0 and 60. So there's nothing stopping the bulls from taking us up to 60, and the bears bringing us back down to remain in this sort of bearish zone. And what else can we see here? Let's have a look. The MACD is ticking up, of course. We haven't yet, we're very far from turning bullish here, but of course it's a lagging indicator, so we're not really expecting that to change anytime soon. Now the 4-hour, where things get interesting. So you can see we grinded the 21, grinded, had a bullish pullback from the bottom of this pullback structure, bullish pullback from the pullback structure, and pulling back from this support up, moving all the way up here. I had a stop limit buy at 7,400, just because we had tested this level so many times, and I figured we would have a nice move up from there if we broke it, which we did. I've taken most of my profit from that position, actually pretty much all of it from that position, up around this 7. I had it sort of laddered between 7,600 and 7,670, something like that, so the top of this range. So we crossed the 21, the 55 is over here. I think that, again, we're not going to see any big resistance until we reach these sort of higher levels. I think we might very well see another little move up. We do have a potential double top forming here, but it's too early to say with another 1.5 hours left on this candle. Now the RSI is moving towards these higher levels. It's really nice. We've taken out this whole sort of lower highs pattern. Now just with a high, low, higher high, higher low. So the 4 hour is really moving bullishly. You can see also here we have a higher high on the MACD, which is nice to see from the previous high. Obviously moving still very bullishly, with the bullish crossover having taken place all the way down here, actually, which is kind of surprising. Oh no, yeah, exactly after this V-shaped reversal. So in summary, what am I looking at now as a potential trade? I'm always looking for trades to get in. I would say coming down to the 21 moving average, just in general, I'd be interested in buying at this range. So at the previous, at 7,400, actually I'm going to make this a little bit more accurate. Let's see, 7,380. And, you know, the fib, I like to do the fib just because it adds some sort of support to other premises. And here we have, this is between the 382 and the 0.5. So really, we want to be targeting anywhere within this zone. We can very easily come down to there and maybe even down to the 786. So I would say this is sort of the area, the large area from which we would find support. And of course, the 618 is usually the biggest, the most notable one. We have a lot of lines here. Let me see what's going on, why we have so many blue lines here. I think that this line can be taken out. And this is the previous high over here, from which, quite a notable point because we had a resistance here, broke through it, found support. So we would really want to see Bitcoin bouncing from here, which coincides quite nicely with the 618 fib over here. And honestly, we can another way of looking at this is saying that this is two waves going up, right? We have 1 and 2. And if we do that, then we do a fib of the second move up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that, you know, I think that the move to look at is really this one. So exactly, the 618 comes down right down this previous resistance. So I'm liking this level, this 3,782, 7,385 rather. Just make this box a little bit smaller now. Yeah, I'm really not excited if we get down to buy, if we get down to 7,000. It's quite a big destroyal of this move up. So I'm going to be ideally targeting somewhere within this range. Nonetheless, let's see what. Lost my train of thought. 15, yeah. That's pretty much it. Oh yeah, of course, that's right. We're going to do see what happens if we do get down to this position. So let's say we're targeting, the first buy will be up at this level, and then another one down here. I mean, you know, I feel like this move, there's no 5-wave structure yet. You know, we have sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that it's just quite likely that we make another move up before coming down for a nice little 5-wave structure, because there's no major resistance at the 7,650 level yet. But if we do come down, then yeah, I might be looking to buy at this level, maybe even stopping out just below here, and sort of get it within this range with a stop over here, and then we'd be looking to target, well, we take some profit at the previous high, and then some at sort of a little bit above that as well, going for the 1-to-1 extension, a standard practice. So 1-to-1, exactly right here. That actually, yeah, it does already. Oh no, of course, that's the 1-to-1 of this structure. But if we move it up, so we move the first wave up here, and then we assume that we come down, let's say somewhere in the middle of this box, and the 1-to-1 would be up here, 7,750. So yeah, I'd be targeting within this range over here. Let's just put it in the middle, and that would give a nice 2.8-to-1. So, in summary, I'm going to see how the price action evolves as and when or if we come down this level, and be looking for buys if we can reach it. And otherwise, I'm not too excited to sell at the moment. You know, I might take a little bit of profit of this position, but until I see some sort of real notable resistance, I'm going to be pretty comfortable in my long position. And that's it for me.